Jim Jatras is joining us, former U.S. diplomat, good enough to talk to us about this. Why do you think the Russians, this was just a macho show of force? Look at us. We're big and bad, too, and we're tired of you guys showing how big and bad you are. And we're going to show how big and bad we are by landing these two planes in Venezuela, your hemisphere.
I think there's an element of that. I think, as you showed very much on the map, when we, let's be honest, broke a promise not to expand 1 inch further east, and are right up in their face. Right, And remember, we still have declarations on the table from 2008 that not only Ukraine, but Georgia will be members of NATO. We see the rising tensions in Ukraine now. The maneuvers we're having still on Russia's borders, right on their territorial waters. They're basically saying, look, if you want a new Cold War, if you want to go back to that, we've got capabilities too. You're used to being the master of everything in your hemisphere. They're not right on our border, but they're on our hemisphere, and they're showing they can do it.
As an American, can you tell me why my country is so dead set on always seemingly wanting to have Russia as its arch enemy? Like forever and ever, no matter what they do or what happens?
You know, there's no rational reason from the point of view of national interests of the United States or the welfare and safety and prosperity of the American people.
So why then? So why?
I think there's several elements to it. I think, first off, there are an awful lot of rice bowls that get filled with the whole industrial complex. And it's not just military-industrial complex. I think the whole deep state is powered on. I think that's part of it. And look, all those McMansions in the Washington suburbs have to be paid for somehow, right? But I think there's more to it than that. I think there are people who really do feel we have some kind of historic mission to bring peace, democracy, human rights, free markets to the rest of the world. And if they don't like it, well, then, we have to get rough sometimes.
So the whole Paul Wolfowitz was the first one that started that doctrine, the doctrine that the United States has the right to rule the world after all, by golly, and we will, right?
I think the real key, there's a 1996 article by Bill Kristol and Robert Kagan toward a neo-Reaganite foreign policy, and they called for a benevolent global hegemony that would last forever. And if the Russians and Chinese don't like it, we should take it as a compliment.
Hey guys, how's it going? How are you guys doing today? Today is Thursday, December 13th, 2018. Today is let's do a little throwback Thursday, okay? Well, as you guys know, I'm busy this morning, busy tomorrow morning. A lot of stuff happening in Jose life, world, what have you. That's good. All right, enough about me. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a special two-part episode type of thing. We're going to be talking about China. We're going to be talking about China. We're going to talk about the new Cold War that's happening between the U.S., China, possibly Russia, most likely. So both hemispheres, going into a new Cold War, and talking about Venezuela, the petro, the fact that these two brand new super jets just landed in Venezuela the other day.
Of the two Russian Tupolev Tu-160 strategic nuclear capable bombers has just landed here in Venezuela. Wow, spectacular! Spectacular! And fighter jets accompanying right there in the skies.
From Russia. And so, there's all these trade deals happening with Venezuela and Russia and that part of the world, Turkey, you name it, all these people that are the enemy of the U.S. right now. And so, if one of the things that Russia has at its disposal that Venezuela might appreciate would be something like, I don't know, some jets, I don't know, some rockets, I don't know, some protection from the evil empire. And Russia is like, yeah, no problem. We got you. We got you. We're going to, go fly over there and hang out for a little bit. I mean, why not? You're inviting us, right? Why not? We should hang out on the U.S. border for a little bit or close to the U.S. border. I mean, we already know that the U.S. is all over the, the Russian border. Here, I'm going to show you a little clip here.
So here's 1990. Here's the NATO countries that you see here in the dark blue, or the navy blue, as we like to say. Right at the time, James Baker made this promise, and he said, this is it. We're not going to go this way. We promise. We will not do that. What happened? Watch. Change the map for me. That's what happened. Okay, after the promise was made, these are the countries that are now part of NATO, right? Look, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania. And this is interesting. In other words, the promise to expand was not kept. All right, let me show you what is bound to have the Russians feeling jittery, if not downright threatened. Because it's not just these countries. There's two in particular that are very important. It's right here. See that? Estonia and Latvia. What is that? Russia, Estonia and Latvia. Right up against the border, right? Could you imagine how we as Americans would respond if Russia or China or Iran or, I don't know, name your bad country, right? If they were part of a military organization that had troops amassed on the border with Mexico, how would we react? How would we as Americans? How would you react? How would I react, right? We'd be like freaked out by that, right? By the way, President Putin, going by the old adage that if you can't beat him, then join him, what the hell, right? Has said on several occasions that he's willing to join NATO, be part of the peacekeeping force. Hey, include us in there, right? He met with President Clinton and asked to be a part of it and discussed it with him and others. So far, no dice. So here's the question. Who is willing, who is NATO courting as possibly a potential new member instead? You're looking at it right there. See that video? All right, that is NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg meeting with Ukraine President Petro Poroshenko. This is in 2016. What are they doing? They're complaining about Russia. Come back to me real quick because I want to show you why that's important. So here you've got NATO now not only doing Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Moldova, and all that stuff. No. Now they're also courting Ukraine. Look at that border with Russia, right? So you do have to ask yourself whether Russia should start to feel a little surrounded, right?
So as you can see there, another Cuban journalist showed you as quickly as possible what's really going on, you know, and what's been going on between the UN, EU, and Russia and its borders, and why Russia has, you know, is the one that feels threatened, even though the US and Europe and a lot of parts of the world, you know, we are led to believe that Russia is a threat. As you can see from that video, that's not the case. It's not the case at all. So, as you know, right there, you can see what's really going on. So, why are we talking about Throwback Thursday? Well, the Throwback Thursday aspect comes because I was just doing research, you know, to the video I was gonna make, and while I was doing research as well, I was looking, you know, through an older video because I was also kind of doing that, anyways, because of the video from last week. But the point is that I did talk about this a year ago, and because we were talking about something else at the time, and so yeah, all this kind of got me started. So that's the Throwback Thursday aspect. The Cold War is also a Throwback Thursday aspect. Why am I even explaining it? I'm semi, you know, see, full retard. All right, so what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, so at the end of this video, I'm gonna post a link, and at the end of tomorrow's video, I'm also gonna be posting a link to this. Okay, this is gonna be a two-part video. First part you're gonna see today. You're gonna see the next part tomorrow. Leave you a little bit of a cliffhanger. I don't have a cliffhanger movie clip here. Sorry. Hey yo. So, the Cold War, as we were saying, a new Cold War. Now, think about it, guys. Things that I've been talking about for a while, that the economy is not going to crash anytime soon. If we see a crash, it might just be, well, we are going to see a correction, but I don't think it's going to be labeled a crash. I don't think the economy is going to feel it in the sense, again, what happens on Wall Street doesn't really correlate with what happens on Main Street. So, you know what I mean? Like the average Joe doesn't really, you know, they don't give a, whatever happens in the stock market really doesn't affect them one way or the other. And that's really the case. So, no matter what would happen, you know, unless it's like some drastic fall, nothing's gonna happen. Most people are not gonna even feel, let's say like a 50 or 60% drop, believe it or not. And again, it's not gonna happen overnight. If it happens overnight, then yes, you know, people will be alerted and will panic. But I think it's gonna be something that's gonna happen over time, like we're experiencing now, and so on and so forth. And we're gonna be seeing some sort of correction, and then we're gonna go back into a bull market. And what's going to start this bull market? Well, whenever the hell we get into this, you know, when eventually Trump and these individuals will be like, all right, we're going to start a new Cold War. And then once that happens, well, then that's when all this is going to start. But for now, they're building up on that. And by the way, I think all three of these individuals are in cahoots, okay? And so, but anyways, as you already know, this is how this works. So instead of going to a real war, we're going to have a Cold War. And why do we need a Cold War? Because we need to continue building this dollar up, this economy up, and so on and so forth. Meaning that they need to figure out and find reasons as to keeping the dollar afloat, keeping the whole central banking situation afloat, keeping this whole thing going. And how can they keep this whole thing going? Well, if they start a Cold War. And as simple as that. I mean, a Cold War is still a war. Only less people die. A lot less people die. So let's opt in that they actually do proceed with this, which is what it really does seem like what they're doing. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while already. Again, look at the video at the end of this video so you can see. I'm not going to put a clip in here. You know, just check it out at the end of this one. And you'll see, I was talking about this a year ago, literally, just about 11 months ago. But yeah, you know, the whole thing with the Cold War would make a lot of sense. Also, it would, like literally, how I've said that they're going to keep pushing the dollar, and they're going to keep pushing this whole, oh, sorry, it's cracking my back real quick. Anyways, yeah, I know, right? Great at making these videos. Keep it so professional. So, like I was saying, yeah, they got to keep pumping this dollar. They got to keep pumping this. It's not just the dollar, because the dollar is just a world reserve currency, but they just got to keep pumping this system without, you know, creating a thing like an SDR, without creating anything that would, you know, cause the world to cause the world to be like, whoa, what's going on here? And all of a sudden be like, you know what? I don't have faith in this bank shit anymore. Let me just try cryptocurrency. So this is why they're trying to keep this whole thing together. You understand? And they need to keep it together. And when trying to keep it together without showing any kinks in the armor. That's it. As simple as that. And that's really what I think is happening. So, and it's going to keep going and going and going and going. And so if all of a sudden they start this Cold War, I mean, we could see another 10 years to this dollar, believe it or not. Even if we do have a correction, even if we do have a crash, and so on and so forth. Now, other countries, you know, economies might be wrecked in between all this time, but for the most part, the dollar will be fine. I mean, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really want the dollar to fall. I really want all these world. I want it so that there's no more world reserve currency in that sense. I don't want governments to be in control of the dollar or any currency or any kind of printing of fiat or printing of value. I don't want any government to be in control of any of this stuff, okay? Trust me, I get it. I'm in that boat. But the reality is that there's a transition right now that's happening from the cryptocurrency and from the world that the old legacy system that we're in. From the old world legacy system that we're in, that banking system, the banking cartel, into cryptocurrency. And it's a process. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be, I think, an easy transition. Look, like Trace Mayer was saying in the interview that I told you guys to watch yesterday. I hope you guys watched it. You know, he was saying that, you know, Visa is only accepted in 55 countries, or only works at 55 countries. I didn't know that. I thought it was a lot more than that. I really did. And cryptocurrency is accepted in every country. You feel me? So it's just things like that. Things like these are the things that we all have to look at and look at the humongous big picture. When I look and I say look at the big picture, these are the things that I'm talking about. All right? And believe it or not, if you know what's up, you already know by that statement that I made there that cryptocurrency, even though right now is still low volume in comparison to Visa, it's readily accepted everywhere on the planet. Already. That gets already beat Visa there. So, you know, we're getting there, guys. You know, it's just you gotta look at outside the box, like for real, like really step outside the box, you know, like not only step out the box, like walk for a while, you know, until you can barely see the fucking box, all right? That's you gotta do that. Do that. Get binoculars. You might see something you never thought you'd see before. So, to kind of round out what I'm saying here, there is going to be a new Cold War, okay? There really is. I really do think that there's going to be a Cold War. I don't think there's going to be a real war, because nobody wants a real war. Nobody really wants a real war. But like everybody does want to flex their military muscle. Especially places like China and Russia, they really do want to flex their muscle. On top of flexing their muscle, they want to be able to, they want to be able to continue building their arsenal. At the same time, it gives the excuse for everyone else around the world to keep building their arsenal, keeping the military-industrial complex going and going and going. And then yes, again, we will see a new Cold War, because you have to remember, guys, like, let's just look at Cuba and Venezuela alone. Those airplanes landing in Venezuela, by the way, if you don't know about this, the U.S. is like up in arms, like, how dare Russia land 2 planes in Venezuela? And the rest of the world's like, what? Huh? Exactly. That's okay. So the fact that, you got to remember, back in the 50s when we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, that's still on the table. Remember, Trump isn't very fucking happy with Cuba. He's closing off the doors to Cuba. Going back to how, trying to go back to how it was when before Obama lifted the sanctions. That's another story for another day. They were forced to do that, okay? Like, seriously, the U.S. was forced to lift the sanctions, all right? By the rest of Latin America. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the U.S. is... So, don't be surprised, Russia, Russia's already hanging out with Cuba and so on and so forth. So, they're hanging out with Venezuela, hanging out with Cuba. Remember, the Cuban Missile Crisis was just the fact that, Russia could put missile silos and put, nuclear weapons, like, again, 90 miles offshore of the U.S. So, they too can play at this game. So, yeah, and then that's the new Cold War, where don't be surprised if all these countries start banding together. Meaning, any country that is going to be considered socialist, communist, what have you, and whatever history repeats itself, motherfuckers. Come on now, this has already happened. And anyone that is in any kind of socialist movement within the U.S. right now is all of a sudden everyone's gonna snap out of it, because it's gonna be America versus socialism, and we're literally seeing a form of McCarthyism right now, literally. Okay, so you got to remember, history repeats itself. Those that choose not to look into history are doomed to repeat it. I'm not saying that history is whatever the fuck is happening now, I'm going to predict with 100% accuracy, because that's not how it works. History doesn't repeat, it rhymes. Okay, and so that's the thing, we don't know how this is going to turn out, but something's going to happen. All right, literally, we already know that there's some sort of like a small socialist, I don't want to say communist, but it's a small socialist, mentality and way of thinking within the U.S. happening at the moment. And by the way, I'm just trying to put things together. Don't be like, again, socialism, communism, all these things are all misinterpreted and misunderstood, and I'm not here to try to interpret them correctly, because everyone has their misinterpretation of them. But again, the US is already a socialist country. China is a capitalist country. I don't want to get into it. That's a story for another day. But the point I'm making is that right now, the US, the people are really trying to push for socialism, the small groups, and that is a threat to the empire. That's not no bueno. We're gonna keep it back to, that's why the whole nationalistic thing, again, don't be surprised if Trump, as much as we thought that he wasn't, as much as we thought that Trump was an outsider, he's probably an insider, because, and he probably most likely is, a lot of people talk about that he is, but the point is, right now, Trump, or what was I saying now? Yeah, the whole thing with with that is that that's why they probably they got this guy elected or put him in power, so that people, once we get to this new Cold War, we would have someone with a strong arm to push that whole Cold War thing, push a McCarthyism, and push out any kind of socialist, communist fucking thought out of the U.S. and that thought process. You follow? So that's all part of this equation. So right now, that's why I really do see, after just saying all that, plus all this other stuff, having my fucking brain, which we're going to see in the next episode. Again, this is why I really do think that a new Cold War is in the brewing right now. And that's what's going to happen. I mean, for real. I really do think that actual war might start ending. Because, again, you can't have an actual war because it can get, out of hand while there's a Cold War. It's like kind of one or the other type of shit. So they're going to start, I think, bringing it back. And why bringing it back? Again, because we're in a new Cold War. We need all decks on hand. We need all our troops home just in case. And so on and so forth. Yeah, we got to keep bases and all that crap, but things are changing. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for watching today. Tomorrow's episode, we're going to be talking about Venezuela and the petro coin and what role they're playing within this new Cold War.
Bitcoin.
What?
I don't know.
Okay? Because the Cuban Missile Crisis might be the Venezuelan missile crisis. And by the way, why is this important? Not just for everyone in America and everyone around the world, but it just really is. I mean, look at everything that's happening in France. Look at everything that's happening in Europe, whether it's England, Germany, Italy, Greece. Holy crap! So shit's going down everywhere, motherfuckers. So get ready, get ready. All right, guys. That's the end of the episode. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this program, please become a patron, okay? It's very easy. Just click the links. If you want to leave any kind of help, donation, hey, you already know, the links are at the bottom. It's just to support this channel and support everything that's going on, because that's it. That's the only support I get. My Nike deal fell through. So yeah, I don't got my Nike revenue anymore. I'm trying to see if I can hit Reebok up, but hey, whatever. Still, for all of you guys out there, there are my patrons. Hey, thank you guys so much. You guys are freaking amazing. Everyone that donates, you guys are freaking amazing. You guys know who you are. All of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna start getting in touch with everybody and start giving you shout outs, because I want to do that. Also, what else? That's it. Yeah, thanks. Follow the Discord. We got like a lot of new things coming up. I got my YouTube live streaming capabilities returned, so I'm going to start streaming on there. I'm still going to be streaming on Twitch and BitTube. That's going to be my thing. I'm not going to be doing this. It's different streams, different everything, all kinds of different content. I'm going to start. I'm playing around with everything this month and launching everything by January, like for real. At least on my end. Plus, we got other shit that Hugo's working on. Plus, we got other shit that all you motherfuckers are working on. We got a lot of awesome content. 2019 is going to be lit as fuck, all right? It's for reals, all right? Is that what the kids say? Anyways, all right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, and please, really, leave the likes, okay? Leave comments. They're free. They don't cost anything, and they help a lot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 2 of the whole fucking Cold War situation here we got. All right, guys. At ease.
Did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You? You, Lieutenant Weinberg? I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You weep for Santiago and you curse the Marines. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives, and my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Did you order the code red?
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!